The scripture reading today comes from 1 Corinthians 16, verses 13 through 14. Keep alert, stand firm in your faith, be courageous, be strong. Let all that you do be done in love. The word of God for the people of God. Thanks be to God.
Good morning. My name is Emily Hanrahan, for those of you who don't know me. Change. Nobody likes change, but change is inevitable. I've never been one to take change very well, yet I've also come to realize that I have to accept change because life cannot be interesting without it. Asbury is one of the main places that has taught me this. Since I was born, we've had pastors come and go, we've had youth leaders come and go, and we've had peers come and go. Nothing lasts forever. There are so many memories that come to me when I think about Asbury, from toddlerhood to now. First, there was preschool, where I first became inseparable with my best friend. Oh, and let's not forget Tag-Along Teddy. I spent a solid amount of time sitting on the steps inside of 1050, patiently entertaining myself while my mom or dad were in meetings like SPRC or ADCAB, to name a few. When I was 4, I met one of my best friends in the children's wing hallway. Before I knew it, I was saying a teary-eyed goodbye to elementary school and dreading the ever-dreaded middle school. Then I was in middle school Sunday school, and all I could look forward to were the lock-ins in 1050, where the boys would steal the girls' stuffed animals and hide them until somebody broke down in tears. And then, of course, there was the year that we painted the classroom to look like a campfire on a starry night. In 7th grade, I auditioned for my first youth musical, Pippin. I was nervous and slightly intimidated by all of the big kids who in my eyes were so incredibly talented. The time came for those who wanted to do a solo audition to come sing a song in front of the directors. Me, being a tiny 7th grader, literally, I stayed in the youth room with the others and waited patiently to be dismissed. The cast list came out soon after, and next to my name read the word Theo. I was so confused. How could I, Emily Hanrahan, 7th grader, have gotten a part I didn't even audition for? Little did I realize that this opportunity, graciously given to me by Larry Dugan and Brian Borer, would give me the confidence to continue in my musical career. I've taken part in 6 amazing youth musical productions here, and they've always been the highlight of my year. Music became one of my greatest passions. I thoroughly enjoyed being a part of the numerous choirs and nursing that passion. Finally, I was in 8th grade, and it was time for confirmation. To be honest, the only thing that really sticks in my brain is the night we went through 2,000 years of history in an hour and a half. What that history was, I couldn't tell you. But sitting in that room with the people I grew up with was the best part. 8th grade moving up day came and went, and here it was, the first day of high school, and with that, my first official year of youth group. When I was 7, my parents got involved with the youth program, and I would tag along on most Sunday nights. I loved it. The people were extremely friendly and including, even to little 7-year-old me. The youth would have conversations with me and make sure that I participated in the games. I always felt included and welcome. After 5 years, my parents stepped back, and therefore my usual Sunday night at youth group disappeared. After only a couple of weeks, I found myself missing my Sunday youth group routine. So you can imagine how excited I was when I was an official youth. UMYF gave me a multitude of opportunities, from mission work to whipped cream fights. My first mission trip was to Jamaica. I remember a number of people who told me that it was unfortunate to have my international trip as my first, but I simply pushed their words aside and found that my first mission trip was absolutely incredible, and I had no idea what the others were talking about. I've experienced mission work in foreign countries, Jamaica, the rural mountains of Kentucky, and the bustling city of Chicago. Each trip has brought new and exciting adventures and chances to create ties with new people, as well as bond with others. It is truly impossible to describe my time with these blessed and amazing people in the course of 5 minutes, so I'll leave you with this. Throughout the last 4 years, I have met new friends, strengthened relationships with old ones, and grown in my faith. Over the last 17 years and 10 months, the people in UMYF have become the siblings I never had or really wanted to have. We laugh like a family, we argue and fight like a family, but most importantly, we love like a family because we are a family. As I reflect on my memories, I can't help but resent the change that is looming. As I graduate from high school and move on to college, one of the biggest changes of my life, I will never be able to forget the anchor that I have found in Asbury, and I hope that Asbury will not forget the ship it is holding from floating out to sea.
Good morning. For those who don't know me, I'm Molly Dugan. And for those who do know me, but you don't know my story. Growing up, I've always heard God gives his toughest battles to his strongest soldiers. And this is because when I was 13 months old, I was diagnosed with juvenile diabetes. It all started when I was very sick. We took me to my normal doctor, who told me to take us right to Strong. When I got to Strong, they checked my blood sugar. It was so high that they just put me into a diabetic coma. That's when they told my parents that I would be juvenile diabetic. At first, growing up, the hard part was all the finger pricks, having to go to the nurse's office, giving myself shots, sticking out with my friends. Didn't really feel accepted by them because I was different. No one in my family had it. I'd have to deal with my midnight lows and my excruciating highs. As I got older, I realized that wasn't the hardest part. The hardest part is what it did to me mentally. If you asked me 6 months ago how I was doing, I would have told you I'm just fine. I would have told you there's nothing wrong, but I would have been lying to you, because inside I felt alone. I felt like no one could help me. That's when I was diagnosed with depression and anxiety. I didn't want to accept it. To this day, I still don't want to accept it, but keeping it hidden isn't going to help me at all. So that's why I reach out to people now. I ask for help. And just because there's a bunch of bads in my life, God blessed me with the ability to help anyone who needs help, to be a support system for everyone like they were for me, to comfort people in the worst of times. For example, when I was no older than 5, my grandpa was very ill in the hospital, and I held his hand and kept smiling to keep him comfort. I can remember going with my aunt to the refrigerator to get popsicles for him. They were always the grape flavored, and I always wanted them, but they weren't mine. They were Grandpa's popsicles. I couldn't have them. He then sadly passed away from us, but luckily I still feel him with me at all times. He's still today one of my biggest heroes. Also with this, I know exactly what I want to do with my life. I want to help young kids who just recently been diagnosed with diabetes so they don't feel alone, so they don't feel like they have no one to talk to, because people say they know what it feels like to have this, but truly no one does. People wish they could take it away from us, but no one can. It's something we have to deal with in life. And I want to be there for them so they're not dealing with it alone. I wouldn't be who I am today without my support system. My loving family, my mom and dad who continuously help me through everything. My brother, who I could call at 1 in the morning and I know he would answer the phone. And Susan, who even though I'm not around, she always welcomes me with a big smile and a big hug and makes sure I'm doing okay. Without you guys, I wouldn't be here today. Thank you. God bless all.
Good morning. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Philip Slattery. 7,352,402,500 people living on Earth. Do you know what they all have in common? Opinions. We know we all have them, and no two are the same. Especially your own specific opinion, which could change every minute or every day. For example, take Obama. In 2008, he was against gay marriage. In 2012, he was supportive of gay marriage. Yet, opinions can also be bad. For example, slavery. For 200 years, people felt that blacks weren't human. Now, in America at least, we have the correct opinion that blacks are people. I'm not defending slavery or anything, but without those wrong opinions, we wouldn't have been able to learn that opinions mean and can do a lot more than we think. So why can't we change the world now? What's stopping us? Opinions. The problem is that not enough people feel that they can make a difference or that it matters. They form the opinion to not have an opinion. The joys of apathy. On another note, we all want to be right. Even if you say it's perfectly okay if you aren't right, you want to be right. Apathetic people included. But if you don't have an opinion, or you don't share your opinion for that matter, it's impossible to be told you're right. So how do you work on that? Do stuff. By doing stuff, you're accomplishing more than some people ever will. This is how we make the world a better place. In AP Government this year, we talked about where we form our ideologies, which come from our opinions. We talk about how they come from where we spend most of our time, which is at home or church. In May 2005, I was in second grade and I was first introduced to Asbury First. The first service I remember going to, I recognized a familiar face. It was the day of the Asbury First church-wide carnival where I was chased by bees the entire time. The second service I remember going to was after coming from the Dining and Caring Center for a haircut when Robin was saying her goodbyes. When I was first entering the sanctuary, the greeter greeted me with pure kindness. When we were sitting down, no one got mad, no one judged me, they just moved over so we could sit down. I think that was when I knew that I wanted to come back, because of all the niceness and the feeling of community that I could sense. And I kept coming back. 4 children's productions, 5 youth musicals, countless retreats, overnights, and pretzel Sundays, too many choir rehearsals than I wish to count, and 3 youth mission trips. Through it all, even though people have come, gone, and come back again, the community stayed the same. And everyone is welcomed in as if they have been there for their entire life. And that is what I love the most about Asbury First United Methodist Church. Thank you.
Okay, well, I definitely can't beat that. Good morning. For all of you that don't know me, my name is Stephen Tracy, and for all of you that do, I'm sorry. As I stand here in front of all of you, I can honestly say that I don't know what to say. And to those of you that know me, that may come as a surprise, especially seeing how on our past mission trip I actually got my speaking privileges revoked because I didn't stop talking. I have no idea where the past 4 years have gone. When I walked through those doors as a freshman, I didn't know what to think. I can say now that that was probably one of the best decisions I've ever made. But I didn't make that decision alone either. In June, when I finished my 8th grade year, Margaret Langdon came over to me at a party with Penfield Ambulance. She asked me if I wanted to go to a youth group with her church, that it would be a lot of fun. I said, sure, why not? Then for almost 3 months, she didn't say anything about it, and I kind of thought she just forgot. At the beginning of September, she asked me again, and again I said yes. So like I said, when I walked through those doors, it was one of the best decisions I ever made. I grew ever more nervous as I walked down those stairs, kind of as I am now, to Fellowship Hall. But my fears of what to expect washed away as soon as I walked in. Everyone was so nice and kind, and they welcomed me instantly. It was one of the most amazing experiences that I've ever had, and it just got better from there. So the games that I played, the conversations that I had, and the friendships I formed made it unforgettable. By the end of the night, I knew that this is a place that I love to be, to go back to week after week. And then I learned that each year the youth group goes on a mission trip. And since that, I've gone on 3. In a few weeks, I'll be going on my last as a youth with Asbury. But I assure all of you that it is not my last mission trip. The passion I have seen in this group as attendance varies and times move on is incredible. It is part of what inspires me so much to succeed. I love to help people in every way that I can. I promise that that will not change. If anything, it has grown during my time at Asbury. So when I walk out those doors, it will not be for the last time. There are more services I want to attend and more youth that I want to watch grow into amazing adults with very bright futures. And I have no way to thank anyone for everything that they have done besides thank them for being who they are, even just smiling and saying hello as we pass each other. So what else can I really say? Share a story about a mission trip? Talk about my favorite youth group, or say goodbye? Well, I'm not one for any of those because it's not necessary. I hope to and plan to see all of you again. My only comment is to keep being yourselves. All of you, no matter whether I've really gotten to know you or not, are why I love this church. Nothing has been a greater way to spend a Sunday night or look forward to each week. So though I may not know all of you, I'm glad to be a part of this church and this community. So this isn't a goodbye. This is a thank you for all the memories until we see each other again, which for me is like less than 10 hours because there's youth group tonight. But that doesn't really matter. So whether or not I was sharing a high or a low, a joy or a concern, was having a good day or not, I knew no matter what I said or how I felt, I was loved. So with a heavy heart, I do approach my last youth group. But I have no regrets. This has been the best 4 years of my life, and I thank you all for that.
Good morning. I'm Amber Conroe. It is my belief that if you took anyone in the world and wrote their life as a book, it would be a bestseller. The trials and tribulations, vices and virtues, all packed together, would make for an entertaining read, no doubt. But if you took the strongest feeling or memory from anyone's story, I believe it would be one of love. Therefore, it is my goal in life to increase those feelings and memories of love in the lives of everyone I meet. Because, as the Beatles say, all you need is love. I was taught the importance of loving others without realizing throughout my Asbury First experience. It's true that children often learn through example, and in this case, I was taught so many things with the help of the congregation. Shyness plagued me when I was younger, and every Sunday when it would come time for me to go to Sunday school, I would resolve myself to sit in the corner and just wait it out until my parents picked me up. My plan never went accordingly, however, for every week the teachers and my classmates would prompt me to join in and have my voice heard. That was one of my first lessons in love. These people went out of their way to make me feel comfortable and included, and these small acts of compassion have affected me ever since. As I got older, the same welcoming sort of routine continued. I regret to say that my first year of youth group, my sister and parents had to force me to go. I'm not quite sure why I put up such a fight, besides the fact that I still was not exactly the most outgoing person. But whenever my parents did manage to get me down to the youth room, I was greeted with hugs and words of welcoming. Youth group is very different from school in the sense that these people are all adamant followers of Jesus' teaching of love thy neighbor. And boy, did I feel loved in this place. Everyone remembered my name, even those I had only met once. Like I said, learn by example. Those instances made me want to make others feel the way I felt when those counselors and friends greeted me and insisted they missed me. These people probably don't even remember how they reached out to me, but I certainly do. Their actions of love stand out in my bestseller. In the end, because I got tired of hiding behind my quietness, and with the help of a few friends, I began to go to youth events and meetings more often. My only regret is that I didn't realize the extent of how great the programs are until my senior year. But the youth ministries weren't the only things from Asbury that taught me the importance of love. I may be one of the few kids that enjoy the sermons, so sorry to any kids out there right now who just want me to wrap it up. I'm getting there. And I learned so much from these speeches. Love, life, faith, all subjects of sermons. I can say that what I took away from the majority of these services, however, is that life is precious, and there is no use filling your days with negative feelings. I am so proud to be a member of a church who accepts all races, genders, sexualities, and people of different incomes. There's so much acceptance and support, and it makes life so much easier and more enjoyable knowing people and God have my back. I have so much to be grateful for, but I would specifically like to thank a few people. Susan Schaefer, you were and have always been a huge comfort to my family. Your open arms and loving words when my cousin Amanda passed away are appreciated more than I can express. To Steve and Katie, you went out of your way to visit me in the hospital in my time of crisis. I will forever remember and be grateful for our conversation about superheroes and TV shows. You gave me a glimmer of hope in a time of darkness. To Mike Mullen, you have personalized the youth group experience, and your encouragement is part of the reason I finally became a regular attendee of youth group last year. And finally, I'd like to thank the congregation of Asbury First. From the woman at a service who once told me my voice was beautiful and should be heard, to the kids who would hug me each morning at VBS, to the counselors and friends from youth group who make it so hard to leave. Thank you all. I guess I'm trying to say that without Asbury, I probably wouldn't be the same person. I probably wouldn't realize the importance of giving back all the love I've received and more. Thankfully, I'll never have to visit that what if, however, for I have had the pleasure of being a part of the extraordinary people of faith at Asbury. So, as I move on with my endeavors next year, and all of you experience another chapter of your own bestsellers, remember, all you need is love.